Thank you for joining us for this lunchtime news broadcast where we catch up on the news making headlines across Namibia and expanding to the rest of the continent and the globe. It is Thursday and we have the following stories to keep you updated this lunch hour. Swakopmund residents encouraged to prevent illegal waste dumping. Extension 24 in Ondangwa officially commissioned. Private school founder seeks assistance from private companies, individuals and government. We also take a look at the news headlining today's daily newspapers, bringing you sports news and international headlines. This and more coming up in today's broadcast. I am Ashwin Bedi and this is NMH at 1. In today's midday news update, the desludge valves at the Naute Dam were opened this morning for a period of 24 hours. According to NamWater, the flow in the river will be minimal, but all traffic will need to pass on top of the dam wall and not the normal road. It stressed that it is not the sluices that will be opened, but just the desludge valves, and that the release rate will be around 30 cubic meters per second. We return with more news from across Namibia right after the break.
Have you received a loan from NSFAF? NSFAF loan is the same as any other loan. It must be paid and settled. NSFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NSFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NSFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag #paybackthemoney.
Let's get into today's visual news. Clivet Mwanangombe, section head of solid waste management, urges residents of Swakopmund to use the facilities at their disposal and prevent illegal waste dumping. Michelin Navatesis submitted this clip.
Usually they just don't drive them to dispose our sites, like the landfill site that is available for them. They just go into an empty corner or empty space and then they chuck it there. It's not allowed, it's making our Swakopmund very dirty. So you are encouraged, especially the contracting companies, the building contractors, you are encouraged, please make use of our landfill site. Our landfill site is behind Matutura on the Hentis Bay Road. It's free of charge. You just have to drive in there and you dump everything there. It's for free of charge. No one is going to charge you. The landfill site is open from 7:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the evening. Please make use of these facilities for you. Otherwise, Swakopmund is looking very dirty now. People are throwing illegal dumping everywhere, all waste. Please, you're encouraged to support us. The residents as well in the community, I'd like to urge you as well, please report all illegal dumping activities. If you see anyone doing anything that is uncalled for, please, you're welcome to call our offices, report those people, we will find them, we will clean. Let's keep our Swakopmund clean. There's a number that you can call. You can find it on our website. 064 410 4500. 410 4500. So please report all the illegal dam activity and let's play a part in making Swakopmund a beautiful city.
Moving on, Extension 24 in Ondangwa was commissioned by the Minister of Urban and Rural Development Erastus Utoni and the Mayor of Ondangwa Pavo Amwele. 2 street names were also erected in honor of Paralympians Ananias Shikongo and Johannes Nambala. Tunohole Mungoba was there.
Ondangwa Eben, the Honorable Councillors of Ondangwa Town, ladies and gentlemen, all the invited guests, the media, you know, we are again gathered here to witness what Ondangwa is making in terms of progress. After 5 years, you know, because they only have 5 years. After 5 years, this is what they have to show. Others will not have anything to show. I now have, yes, they do not have anything to show. It's now my honor and privilege on behalf of the community of Ondangwa to now officially launch or open Extension 24 with beautiful, beautiful houses. Congratulations, Ondangwa. Yes. Another one is here. Oh, it's already open.
Mimi Naute Dam, Naute Karambi, for those inspiring words. We in the management of the council are always inspired to hear positive reviews from the people, the residents that we are serving. Thank you very much.
Now in the last of our visual news stories, founder and owner of Ebenezer English Private School at Endobe in Omusati region, Miriam Amushila Hakaye, is asking private companies, individuals as well as government to come to the aid of her school. She spoke to Toyemo Haidula.
My name is Miriam Amushila, the founder of Ebenezer English Private School. And our motto is to passion for quality education, our driving force. And the purpose to come up with this school, we want to teach a Namibian child. When we come up with this school, we offer a free hostel to the learners, as to help the Namibian child. And in this time, I didn't receive any single assistance from even government or private sectors or anyone. I didn't receive any single. But so far, I thank God who on my side, helping me to come up with this school, the Bing School, in 4 years. But the school is achieving a lot. As you see, the whole breeding, the hall, and also the achievement for the bus. And in this time, what I'm talking now, we want assistance so that the institution to grow higher. We need a classes. We need a hostel breeding. We need a toilet facility. We need a hand of the government or private sector to assist us. Because in this school, there's a lot of vulnerable kids. Those that are on the shoulder of Ebenezer. We buy them all their needs from ration and everything. And that kids, they are coming from the social community, like Himba, Zimba, and also next year, by God's grace, I have a communication with the Council of Okongo to give us those community from the sun, to bring those kids to come to get a free education at Ebenezer. And I'm really happy. I have to give them all their needs they want. I have to provide them. I don't have anything, but I have to try as I
We certainly hope she gets the assistance she needs. When we return, we'll be taking a sneak peek inside Namibia's daily print publications. But first, a quick break. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. The Namibian Sun reports that Mines and Energy Minister Tom Aluendo says although Namibia has only 10% equity share in oil discovered off its coast, conservative estimates by government shows that the country stands to benefit up to 55% of revenues generated from such operations. On page 3 of the Namibian Sun, it is reported that the Ministry of Finance has found that purchases of overpriced medications significantly contributed to the central medical stores running out of stock. The Republican reports that with the government's creditworthiness now considered highly risky, any debt incurred in foreign currencies will come at a high price. Now, Republican also reports that Fishco's hake company, Seaflower Whitefish Corporation, had to hurry to find a buyer for a load of hake that arrived on Friday, but could not be unloaded due to the strike that reached its 6th day today. The Allgemeine Zeitung reports that President Hage Geingob has announced an increase in social security payments for disabled children from April 2023 and spoke out for the first time about the war in Ukraine. The Allgemeine Zeitung also reports Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta has announced that Namibia will no longer export timber. We return with the front pages after this short break. Let's have a look at the front pages. The Namibian reports that the former head of the Namibia Institute of Public Administration and Management and political analyst Joseph Daisho says President Hage Geingob is a liar. The Namibian also reports that investors in government bonds have been warned to tread carefully when dealing in Namibia's securities as the country's creditworthiness has been downgraded further. In the new era, it is reported that President Hage Geingob yesterday assured the nation that his administration has made considerable progress in job creation, decreasing poverty, addressing the housing crisis, and strengthening infrastructural development. In the new era, it is also reported that while taxpayers spend millions annually to keep the Namibia National Liberation Veterans Association afloat, there appears to be little accountability from the association if its recent audited report is anything to go by. Now, finally, in economic news, according to Market Watch, Namibia imports most of its products and will thus remain vulnerable to imported inflation as a result of ongoing supply disruptions. Sticking with economic news, FNB Namibia has been named the best bank in the country. This and more in stories from the world of economics when we return. This is still NMH at 1, and these are your economic news stories. Global Finance has announced its 29th annual awards for the world's best banks, with First National Bank Namibia announced as the overall best bank in Namibia for the third consecutive year. The winners of this year's awards are those banks that attended carefully to their customers' needs in difficult markets and accomplished strong results while laying foundations for the future success. Irvin Shipuka, FNB CEO, says that last year society continued to deal with the resurgence of COVID-19 and unfortunate unrest in some areas. As a result, we expanded our holistic help to people and businesses across all segments of society and sectors, because this is core to our purpose of helping. All selections were made by the editors of Global Finance after extensive consultations with corporate financial executives, bankers and banking consultants, and analysts throughout the world. In selecting these top banks, Global Finance considered factors that range from the quantitative objective to informed subjective. In our next economic news story, Australian mining company Paladin Energy Limited is seeking 2.3 billion Namibian dollars to restart operations at its flagship Langer Heinrich uranium mine in the Namib Desert. This would be raised through the sale of shares at 8 Namibian dollars 60 cents per share, an offer which opens today and closes on 26 April. The equity raise comprises a single tranche fully underwritten share placement to raise $200 million and a non-underwritten share purchase plan to be offered to eligible Paladin shareholders in Australia or New Zealand to raise up an additional $15 million. The company held an equity raising presentation last week where management said the new dream is for Paladin to feature among the top 10 global uranium producers. Not all funds will go towards the restarting of the mine. Restart mining capital is set at 1.3 billion Namibian dollars. 1.1 billion would be spent on working capital and fees. Langer Heinrich mine is 75% owned by Paladin Energy, while 25% is owned by China National Nuclear Corporation. Let's look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is down against these major currencies, now trading at 14 Namibian dollars and 71 cents for $1. Capricorn Investment Group and Namibia Breweries Limited stock prices have dropped on the NSX. Paratus Namibia Holding stock prices are up by 10%, while local index dropped. Overall index is also 0.34% lower. Brent crude oil is up by 0.80%, while these other major commodities have dropped in value. Now, a military court in Burkina Faso yesterday handed down a life term to former President Blaise Compaoré over the 1987 assassination of leader Thomas Sankara. Stick around for the full story after the break. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at latest news in our neighboring countries. We will later extend to the rest of the globe. Now, a military court in Burkina Faso yesterday handed down a life term to former President Blaise Compaoré over the 1987 assassination of revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara, a case that has afflicted the impoverished and volatile state for 34 years. The court also issued life terms to Hyacinthe Kafando, an officer suspected of having led the hit squad, and General Gilbert Diandere, an army commander at the time of the assassination, which coincided with a coup that brought Compaoré to power. Compaoré, who lives in exile in Ivory Coast after being toppled by public protests in 2014, and Kafando, who has been on the run since 2016, were tried in absentia. The 6-month trial was avidly followed by many of the landlocked Sahel nation, for whom Sankara's bloody death remains a dark blot on the country's history. Thomas Sankara was shot dead on 15 October 1987, little more than 4 years after coming into power as an army captain. He and 12 colleagues were killed by a hit squad at a meeting of the ruling National Revolutionary Council. Compaoré and Diandere were also found guilty of complicity and in the murder, and Kafando of murder. 8 other accused were given jail terms ranging from 3 to 20 years, while 3 defendants were acquitted. Now, Mozambique is short of 14 million free textbooks. The Ministry of Education and Human Development has so far received 2 million of the 16 million textbooks needed for the current school year. Education Ministry spokesperson told a press conference in Maputo. Guibunda said that unspecified quantities of school books were expected to be distributed this month, and noted that 95,000 textbooks previously used in schools in the country have been collected and redistributed. The ministry spokesperson said that the COVID-19 pandemic had made shipping goods to Mozambique unattractive. One reason for the delay in books' arrival. Printing and transporting textbooks from India to Mozambique would cost around $15,657,000 at current exchange rates. We swing over to Nigeria, where a Nigerian court has ordered the government to enforce the country's gender policy, which stipulates that 35% of appointments in public offices be reserved for women. Justice Donatas Okorowo's ruling has been hailed by rights campaigners. Nigerian women groups have been calling for more women representation in political and appointive positions. This comes as Nigerian lawmakers are expected to vote again on 3 of 5 rejected gender equality bills this week. Parliament rescinded its decision last month after women groups held protests across the country. We will soon move on to international news, where the US has announced new sanctions targeting Russia's top public and private banks and 2 daughters of Vladimir Putin. We share the latest developments on this when we return. Heading straight into international news on NMH1, the White House announced sanctions yesterday targeting Russia's top public and private banks and 2 daughters of Vladimir Putin, adding more pressure on the country's economy and its elite over the invasion of Ukraine. The new sanctions targeted Maria Vorontsova and Katerina Tikhonova, 2 adult daughters of Putin's. Also hit with new sanctions were the wife and daughter of Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and members of Russia's Security Council, including former President and Prime Minister of Russia Dmitry Medvedev and Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin. These individuals have enriched themselves at the expense of the Russian people. Some of them are responsible for providing support necessary to underpin Putin's war on Ukraine, the White House said in a statement. They also declared full blocking sanctions on Russia's largest public and private financial institutions, Sberbank and Alfa Bank, and said all new U.S. investment in Russia was now prohibited. The White House also said that new sanctions would be announced tomorrow on key Russian state enterprises, aiming to hamper their ability to trade and move money through the global financial system. Now, some residents under lockdown in Shanghai, China, say they are running out of food amid the city's biggest ever COVID outbreak. Residents are confined to their homes, banned from leaving for even essential reasons, such as grocery shopping. Nearly 20,000 cases were reported today in China's biggest city, another near record high. Officials have admitted the city is facing difficulties, but say they are trying to improve this. But public anger is also being stoked by other drastic measures, such as the removal of children from their parents if they test positive. Shanghai officials later responded by allowing parents who were also infected to accompany their children to isolation centers. However, according to a Reuters report, there are still complaints over children separated from parents who are not COVID positive. Positive cases have to go to mandatory quarantine facilities, which critics say have become crowded and have subpar conditions. Now, Castle Light T20 and 50 over series has come to an end. More on that when we get into local sports news after the break.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
Diving into your local sports news, Namibia's senior cricket team coach Pierre de Bruin says the just-ended Castle Lights T20 and 50 over series that took place at Wanderers Cricket Club the past 2 weeks were an important eye-opener which served its purpose. The Dome in Swakopmund will again be a hive of volleyball action when the Namibia Volleyball Federation hosts the famous Bank Windhoek Dock Open tournament. President Hilary Mbua has hinted at a bigger event than the previous year. We expect this year's event to be bigger than the previous one. 16 female and 22 male teams will contest for top honors, Mbua reiterated. Now, Reinhold Thomas, one of Namibia's elite long-distance runners, has set his sights on breaking the men's national marathon record that was set by Luket Swartboy 28 years ago. Russian and Belarusian runners will not be allowed to take part in this year's Boston Marathon. More after this break.
Choose your flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in one bundle. It's new, it's one bill, and you can stay connected in more than one location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Heading into international sport, Russian and Belarusian runners will not be allowed to take part in this year's Boston Marathon because of the invasion of Ukraine, organizers said yesterday. Russian and Belarusian athletes living in their respective countries are barred from the April 18 race, the Boston Athletic Association said. Moving over to Formula One, Lewis Hamilton's hopes of winning a 3rd Australian Grand Prix were handed a reality check by Mercedes boss Toto Wolff on Thursday, who warned that there was no magic fix to the problems plaguing his car. The once dominant Silver Arrows have fallen well short of Red Bull and Ferrari in the opening 2 races of the season, following a series of design changes to comply with new regulations for the 2022 season. Now, Gennady Golovkin plans to turn 40 in style with a great fight against Ryota Murata on Saturday in the middleweight unification showdown in Japan, 1 day after his birthday. IBF world champion GGG Golovkin is favourite to beat Murata, who holds the WBA version of the title in Saitama, north of Tokyo. Stick around, because we'll bring you your highlights right after the break. Now, we understand that it's lunchtime, so it's perfectly understandable that you may have missed some of our stories while you were having that sandwich or two. So let's get into your highlights. The desludge valves at the Naute Dam were opened this morning for a period of 24 hours. According to NAM Water, the flow in the river will be minimal, but all traffic will need to pass on top of the dam wall and not the normal road. It stressed that it is not the sluices that will be opened, but just the desludge valves, and that the release rate will be around 30 cubic meters per second. A military court in Burkina Faso yesterday handed down a life term to former President Blaise Compaoré over the 1987 assassination of revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara, a case that has afflicted the impoverished and volatile state for 34 years. The White House announced sanctions yesterday targeting Russia's top public and private banks and two daughters of Vladimir Putin, adding more pressure on the country's economy and its elite over the invasion of Ukraine. Namibia's senior cricket team coach Pierre de Bruyne says the just-ended Castle-Light T20 and 50 over series that took place at Wanderers Cricket Club the past 2 weeks were an important eye-opener which served its purpose. Global Finance has announced its 29th annual awards for the world's best banks, with First National Bank Namibia announced as the overall best bank in Namibia for the third consecutive year. Those have been your highlights. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1 and spending your lunch hour with me, Ashwin Berry. Remember to tune in every Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. as we take you through the latest happenings in Namibia and beyond. Stay with us for a compilation of news from across Namibia in our regional review segment.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to another edition of the Regional Review. My name is Enzo Amwele, the correspondent for Namibia Media Holdings in the Central North. Well, viewers, welcome back from our daily ad. First up in our news, the Office of the Prime Minister held a week-long workshop in Otjiwarongo to look at their strategic plan of the year. We spoke to Iben Natangwe, who is the Executive Director of the Office of the Prime Minister, to tell us more.
My name is Iben Nashandi. I'm the Executive Director, Office of the Prime Minister. We are undertaking the workshop, which is really aimed at reviewing the strategic plan of the Office of the Prime Minister. Our strategic plan ran from financial year 2017-18, and it ran for 5 years up to end of March, which is yesterday. So we were reviewing that progress, how far we have done. But also, going forward, we need now to craft a new strategy for the next financial year, which is financial year 2022-2023. So the activities for the last 5 days, which started on Monday, were therefore aimed at doing the review and also crafting the strategy going forward. Of course, the strategy was executed under very difficult conditions. You know, we had revenue which has declined. We have drought in 2019 where we had to direct most of the resources, and then 2020 then came COVID. But overall we are quite satisfied with the progress we have made. We have identified numerous challenges which are now really sort of the foundation on which we are going to build the strategy going forward.
Well, viewers, next up in our news, Okahanja municipality engaged stakeholders in the community of Okahanja. This stakeholder meeting was aimed at looking at the town's budget and the plans that the town has for its community members.
We have to look at revisiting factories such as the Midco that has been closed down. Those are the opportunities that has to be tapped for job creation. Further, we have to look at establishing new extensions so that the huge backlog of housing will be addressed, among others. And we are looking at the alignment of our NDP, of our budget to the NDP 6. Then the issue of the empowerment of the youth has to be addressed through our planning. Why the youth? One must look at the recreation facilities, access to potential areas where they will be given an opportunity to drive their businesses through SMEs, and also to see to it that the alignment of the Ministry of Youth developmental programs are also incorporated in our 5-year plan, so that if they want to put up infrastructures in town, service land is available to them. In brief, that's the area of concern which we want to undertake.
What brought me here? What brought me here is to tell you what you know. This place, this town, Okahanja, is a historic town. It's a town that has got a very important history linked to the entire country. And we must strive to improve the social and economic conditions so that our people can live a decent life.
Well, viewers, we do hope that those development plans do come to the community of Okahanja. Next up in our news, a career fair was held in Okakarara last week Friday. The career fair was aimed at educating the youth around Okakarara on various career opportunities that are available in Namibia.
But I want to put to yourself to say that all of us who are seated, some of us who are seated on top of here, we were there where you are seated today. A lot of speakers came here, they mentioned a lot. But what matters the most is you. Whether you take this information, internalize it, and eventually turn it into meaningful and practical actions that can bring about the necessary change in your life. That's all what matters. The Career Fair is a good initiative that they started back in 2013. And we pay homage and tribute to the late Honorable Governor Rapama Kamehodu. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. He was a brainchild with Uveraili Shadewa and of course Laura Benapi McLeod Kashiwa, the Governor of Commerce Region, who came up with this initiative. But the late Kamehodu only lived 1 year after the establishment of this. And the Almighty, the Creator, came to look for him, for he had better duties to go serve up in heaven. And he is there watching us as we are trudging and continuing to advance this program going forward. And I would like at this juncture try to pay my respect to the Richa Career Fair leadership, the brainchild of yourself, Udareya Shavra, who's here. It is indeed not an easy program to pull together. Yourself, Helmi Petrus, Madam Shiramba, who is here with us, Tommy Andimba, who is not here, Joyce Mudengwa, and the others. I would like to say, job well done. Keep up.
is the lack of proper career guidance. Therefore, in my first breath, I want to thank Mr. Shalewa and his group, Risha Career Guidance Seminar, for this opportunity, because in my view, Mr. Shalewa and his group, this event is supposed to take place every beginning of the year in our Kakarara constituency to make sure that I don't take science if I want to become a soldier. Now that we are already halfway through the calendar year, now you are coming to guide us. We might want to consider our subject options, but that might be a little bit. So please take it upon yourself, put it in your notebook to make sure that in January, before we write the first learner in any school, we have a career guidance. Thank you very much for your presence.
Well, viewers, that brings us to the end of our news segment. Stay tuned as we talk to Talana Engelbrecht, who is the founder of Lekker Cookies.
Goeiemiddag kijkers, ek is Talana Engelbrecht van Lekker Cookies en Beskuit. Republikein het my vandag kom sien om meer vir julle te vertel van my besigheid en waarvan dit kom. Ons het 3 jaar terug het ons besluit om te begin koekies bak, want my seun het span gekry om Finland toe te gaan en ja, met die huidige ekonomie was dit maar vir ons 'n tawwe ding om te besluit om saam te gaan en so, en ek wou baie graag as ouer saam gaan om hom te ondersteun. Toe het ek besluit om te begin koekies bak en so, en in my kombuis het ek begin, en ek het maar min in die begin gemaak, maar elke maand het dit 'n bietjie meer geraak en elke maand het dit 'n bietjie groter geraak, en ek het toe vir die sparre gaan sien en uitgevind of ek by hulle kan 'n vendor kry om dan nou my koekies daar te verkoop, en so het dit al groter geraak, en 3 jaar verder is ek by al die fruit and veggies in die land, en ek is by meeste van die sparre. Ek gaan een van die dae gaan julle my produkte kan kry by die Pick n Pay ook. Ek het nie net begin met koekies ook later nou nie, ek het my eie stroop begin kook, wat ook 'n baie groot sukses is, en wat ook in meeste van die winkels beskikbaar is. Ja, soos ek sê, dit is maar, ek het ingelê hierdie jaar, tomatie konfyt, ek wag net vir my labels, dan gaan dit ook op die rakke wees. So ja, op die oomblik het ek 6 mense wat vir my werk, en wat salaris kry deur koekies en beskuit. My plan met Lekker is verseker om uit te brei en om groter te gaan. Ek het nog nie verder gedink in terme van 'n perseel nie, maar ja, ek sal graag eendag my eie bakkerytjie wil oopmaak en toeriste wil dien wat deur Namibia, wat deur Oudtshoorn kom. En ek het ook al 'n boodskap op Facebook gekry van mense wat 'n pakkie gestuur het vir iemand in Duitsland, en daar was 'n pakkie van my gemmerkoekies in, en hulle was baie in hulle skik met die gemmerkoekies. So ja, ek wil graag hê mense moet 'n produk van Namibia kan saamvat, en veral as die toeriste hier deurkom, dat hulle definitief iets eie aan Namibia sal ervaar. So ek hoop om eendag dalk 'n winkeltjie of 'n plekkie van my eie te hê. Okay, Lekker Koekies en Beskuit se resepte het ek maar so hier en daar gekry, plaaslik, en dit kom van my kinderdae af. As kind het ons 'n tradisie gehad om vakansies, die hele gesin saam koekies te bak vir die Desember vakansie. En dan vra ek maar, gee my resep, of gee nie my, as hulle nie die resep wil gee nie, dan probeer ek myself 'n bietjie kyk, hoe kan ek die goeders bymekaar sit en so. Ek kan ook dalk sê, ek gebruik baie van Annelie Pinaar, dink ek is van boerekos met 'n toast. Ek gebruik 'n klomp van haar resepte. En dan het ons 'n tannie hier op die dorp wat se naam Tannie Persilma Steenkamp is. Sy het nou onlangs vir my een van haar baie gewilde resepte gegee. So dis ook 'n nuwe beskuit wat op my reeks beskikbaar is. My goue stroop het 'n tannie van die ouete huis, tannie Baby, vir my geleer een oggend hier in my huis om stroop te maak, en van daai oggend af wat ek begin het om stroop te maak, het ek nog nooit stroop gekoop nie. So al die eer is eintlik aan hulle te doen, tannie Persilma Steenkamp en tannie Baby. Ek weet nou nie eers wat is tannie Baby se van nie. So ja, julle kan al ons produkte word gereeld en daagliks, sal ek amper sê, adverteer op Facebook en op Instagram. So julle kan my webblad dophou. Ek is dan ook by meeste van die sparre en dan fruit en veg landwyd is my produkte ook beskikbaar.
It is indeed a great initiative there by Talana Engelbrecht, and we hope she achieves all her goals. Next up, viewers, we take a look at our weather report.
Okahanya is sunny and pleasant today and tomorrow, with clouds picking up by Saturday and showers expected on Sunday afternoon. Otjiwarongo and Okakarara are mostly sunny and beautiful over the next 2 days, with stray showers expected over the weekend. Partly sunny and pleasant conditions are expected for Tsumeb for the next week, while Grootfontein is mostly sunny and pleasant, with stray showers forecast for Saturday, whereafter it will clear.
Have you received a loan from NSFAF? NSFAF loan is the same as any other loan. It must be paid and settled. NSFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NSFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NSFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag payback the money.
Well, viewers, that brings us to the end of our show here today of the Regional Review. I hope to see you guys again next week, Thursday.